Hey guys, Slater Magic here, and it's time for another overlooked but awesome card. This one is pretty cool because it was originally printed only once in Judgment, but it was very recently added to Commander 2017 as a rare. This is in the cat deck because it's a cat beast spirit. They really went nuts with the subtypes on these decks. And I've got to say, although it costs a ton of mana, it is appropriate for Commander because, you might be able to get it out. And it is just insane. This thing is just completely mental, but it gets much, much, much worse after you read the card. So I'm, of course, talking about Phantom Nishoba. I assume that's how you pronounce it. How about Phantom Ghost Kitty? That sounds way better. So Phantom Ghost Kitty is a 0/0 with trample. Wait a minute. But it enters the battlefield with 7/1/1 counters on it. So since it's a 7 cost, we're already off to the races here, but then, whenever it deals damage, you gain that much life. I don't know why they felt the need to spell out lifelink word for word, because, they did on the card from Judgment, because I doubt it was invented back then. But, I don't know, maybe there's a slight difference. Maybe, like, lifelink says combat damage or something, I don't know. Either way, let's just pretend it has lifelink. So that's already pretty good for a 7/7 with trample, because you're going to hit them. The best part is, if damage would be dealt to Phantom Nishoba, prevent that damage. Remove a 1/1 counter from it. Now you're probably thinking, cool, it's Undergrowth Champion. So let's throw that one up for a second because there's a very distinct difference between these. And remember, Undergrowth, I think it hit like $10 at one point. Also keep in mind, it is like turbo cheap right now. So if you're playing green and need to stall out the game or win the game, or you need to run creatures, put this in your deck. Everybody says, oh no, BFZ cycling out, don't spend money on it. I think these are like $1.50 a card or something. Really? Plus, they're not bad in Modern. Anyway, if damage would be dealt to Undergrowth Champion while it has a +1/+1 counter on it, prevent that damage and remove a counter. And then, of course, landfall, add a counter. So that's worded a little bit differently, and you probably can already catch where I'm going with this. So let's go back to Super Ghost Kitty. Oh my gosh, I should have nicknamed it Casper the Friendly Trample Cat. Anyway, it just says, if damage would be dealt to Phantom Nishoba, prevent that damage. That's it. Then remove a +1/+1 counter from it. You can probably see where I'm going with this, but let's take the rulings in order, because there's 4 of them and they're all completely crazy. Now here's what I wouldn't have thought. This one goes back to 04. If this card takes damage from multiple sources at once, for example, if it is blocked by multiple creatures in combat, it only loses 1 counter. I wouldn't have thought. I did not know that that's how that worked. In fact, I'm not even sure that's how Undergrowth Champion works. So, of course, I went back over and checked it out, and yeah, apparently it's like 1 instance of damage, I guess, or whether it's considered that way or not. It says, if Undergrowth Champion was dealt damage from multiple sources at the same time, for example, blocked by multiple creatures, its prevention effect will apply once to all that damage. You'll remove only 1 counter. So the second ruling for Super Duper Ghost Trample Cat is if unpreventable damage is applied to this card, you still remove a counter from it even though the prevention fails. That kind of makes sense. It seems within the rules as far as I've read them. The third ruling is remove 1 counter each time it would be damaged. If it was going to take more than 1 point of damage, you prevent all that damage and still only remove 1 counter. That's just how the card works. I don't know why that had to be a actual ruling. Like you don't say, oh, it took 7 damage. I guess it took 1 damage 7 times. No, that's just how the game works. But the fourth one is interesting. Are you ready for this? Trust me, no, you're not. The damage prevention ability works even if it has no counters, as long as some effect keeps its toughness above 0. Think about that for a second. Damage is always prevented. No matter where it came from, what the source was, it just says if damage would be dealt to it, prevent that damage. Then as an after effect, take a counter off. If it runs out of counters, but it's not dead, it can't be damaged. So you're probably thinking, yeah, but how would I do that? Like, what if I add an 8th counter? So what? It's a counter. It would come off. Basically like what I call a field bonus or a field spell, field booster. So there's a million different ways to do this, but I'll just use the one I remember, Hall of Triumph. 3-cost legendary artifact, real simple. Enters the battlefield, choose a color. Creatures you control of the chosen color get +1/+1. Now that's not a counter, that's just a ongoing boost. So if you were to use that, he would be a 1/1 trampler that cannot take damage. He just can't. So I'm not saying he's like indestructible, because he's not, but if you were to grant him indestructible, that would be pretty messed up. I think an easier way to do this would be to throw equipment on him. Just any kind of equipment that gives him, like, plus attack would be nice, and plus defense. Or just defense, and then you just use him as a giant cat shield. In fact, equip him with a giant cat shield. I'm sure that's a thing. So this card is completely bonkers. I mean, they could force you to sacrifice it, they could just hit it with a kill spell, but they certainly are not going to kill it with creatures. That is virtually impossible. It actually can't even be killed by Death Touch. I mean, there's almost nothing that can kill this. I guess a creature holding Godsend or something, but that's really about it for creatures. Or like Vortex Elemental. So, okay, there's like 1,000,001 ways to stop this card, but still, it's so good. I mean, for 7, Trample, Lifelink, and all you have to do is boost it, and it's not going away anytime soon. Not bad at all. So this is certainly one of the better cards in Commander 2017. Right now it looks like the cat deck is the lowest, if not close to the lowest in price, even though it has the most powerful commander by far, and it has cards like this. Though I just suspect that out of like the other 98 cards in the deck, I guess they just don't add up to a very high singles amount, but I think people are going to buy it just to buy it because, one, cats, freaking awesome, and I mean, it's playable, it's good, and if you want, just swap out some cards if you don't like what's in it, and who cares about the singles price? You're going to play Commander with it, not sell it. So I'm really in favor of pre-ordering stuff, but considering the price might actually go up on that deck, you might want to go for that one. But then again, I'm reading this on August 23rd, 2017, and you're probably not watching it on August 23rd, 2017. This is, of course, the ongoing series Overlooked But Awesome, where I just find cards that are, you know, a little bit obscure, a little bit not heard of, a little bit not commonly played, and then feature them for being either super weird, super powerful, or super unique, or just whatever makes them awesome. So hopefully half of what I said is still remotely relevant, although it is kind of timely. But, you know, whatever. It's a super ghost cat, and it's super awesome. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.